Hello and welcome to the Yoga No Host studio in North Hollywood. My name is Susannah and today we're going to do a quick flow for the low back. So we're going to start today on our backs, so come on down. And we'll draw the knees to chest once we get there. So come on down to your back, we'll draw the knees to chest. If you want to do a couple of rocks and rolls on the spine, we can do that. But coming onto our backs, nice and slow, good. Yeah, and then we'll do a couple of circles once we arrive. We can move the knees around in one direction, a couple times, and then we'll go the other direction. Breathing into the low back, hello. Starting that conversation with ourselves. And then we'll come into a happy baby. So we'll grab either behind the legs, ankles, or outside edges of the feet, and we'll start to draw those knees down towards the floor. We can start to rock side to side in our hips, maybe straightening one leg and then the other. We'll feel our low back growing long, and we can just play here on our back a little. So whatever feels good, we'll just start to explore and start to breathe into the low back. So drawing our energy down into our root chakra, which is at the base of the spine, the tailbone area. And allowing ourselves to ground down. All right. So bringing those knees back to chest. We'll bring the feet to floor. And let's bring our hands to our, one hand to the heart, one hand to the belly for a moment, just to set an intention and to check in. So feeling ourselves breathing, let's do a few deep breaths. So starting by emptying the lungs. And then we'll take a deep breath in. Maybe sending the energy up to the third eye, gaze up inwardly. When we're ready to let go, we can soften into the back of the body. And 2 more deep breaths on the inhale. We'll hold at the top just for a little bit, guiding the energy up the spine, up to the third eye. When we're ready to let go, softening into our body as we exhale, holding at the bottom when we get to the bottom of that breath. And we'll do 1 more deep breath in. Just slowing our breath down. And coming into our body, feeling our heart beating, feeling the clothes on our skin. And setting an intention now. We can just let our breath come to a normal pace now. And asking ourselves, what do I need today? Maybe sending healing to our low back, our foundational area. And just feeling gratitude there for our spine, for our back, and feeling ourselves really supported by the earth here. And we'll get into some drills. So keeping that intention, keeping that breath with us. Let's bring our hands beside us on the mat. We'll keep our feet to floor, knees to sky. And we'll start with our little cat-cow. So we'll start by arching our back, and then drawing our tailbone long and drawing the navel, the belly button, down to the floor. So we'll do a few arching and a bit of rounding, pressing that core down, belly button down to the floor. Just a few more. Arching and rounding, using the floor to support us, and noticing that low back area. 1 more round of breath here, arching and rounding. So coming back to a neutral spine, we'll draw the navel down to the mat, so keeping that core engaged. We'll come into some what they call marching. So lifting one leg up. We'll use our right leg to lift up using that right core. Exhale, guiding it down. Inhale to lift. Other side, exhale. So we're alternating, marching one leg up from the core, lifting that right leg up, nice and slow. So find that lower core, and it's the lower core that's lifting that leg up. And we're keeping that 90-degree shape. Perfect. Nice and slow. Maybe finding the inner thighs, slightly drawing them in towards each other. Let's do about 5 more. From that lower core, drawing up. So maybe noticing if the hip is working. Try and get into that lower pelvic floor. Nice and slow. Slower is harder here. It's a very minute movement. And then coming back to center. Let's bring both of those knees up into a 90 degree. And we'll do the same thing, this time just dropping our toe down. We'll keep that 90 degree angle. Each toe, one at a time, we'll drop it down and pick it back up to that 90 degree. One at a time. Yeah. Alternating, nice and slow. So find that lower core, draw that belly button down once more. Yeah. That's the spot. And what this is doing is we're building that lower pelvic floor so it protects the low back from overworking. It's usually what happens, when we are out of touch with our low core, we start to go into our low back. So strengthening that foundation in the front of the body. Okay. Let's go ahead and release our toes to the mat just for a moment. Resetting. And then we'll bring those knees one more time, 90 degrees. This time we're bringing our hands to our knees to hands. And same work, drawing that belly button down. We're pressing the hands into knees and the knees into hands. So we're going to start to resist ourselves. So keeping that 90 degrees. Yeah, pressing. There it is. So we're pressing legs into hands, hands into legs, drawing the belly button down. We'll feel that lower core engage. And you can release the neck to the floor. Yeah, it's just that lower pelvic floor. Pressing, keep pressing. So resisting ourselves, pressing away for 3 more breaths. Keep hugging that belly button down, down, down to the floor. Woo! One more breath. And then floating the legs down, release. Okay, let's bring our right knee in. We can keep that left foot on the floor. So we can hug that knee in, give it a nice squeeze. Then we'll start to press, extending that leg straight. We'll press through the heel, straighten that leg out on the mat. Inhale, we'll hug it in, draw it up. Exhale to press. Now working on our hip mobility. Exhale. Let's do that about 4 more times. Pressing out. Inhale to squeeze in. Beautiful, guys. Pressing through that heel. Lovely. Feeling that hip and core. One more time. Pressing out. And then we'll go ahead and switch it up to the other side. So right foot can come to the floor. And we can draw that left knee in first. Just give ourselves a little squeeze. And then pressing to that heel, extending straight. And our back is all the way on the floor. I know I have to stay up because of my mic, but we're laying all the way down, talking to our hip, talking to our lower core, pressing to that heel. Maybe even noticing the difference between the two sides, if one side's weaker or more flexible. Noticing that. 1 or 2 more here. One more. Okay. Let's bring those feet to floor, both feet to floor now. We'll come into a bridge. So bringing the hands by our hips. If you'd like to grab onto the mat, we can do that. But pressing into our hands, starting to lift our hips up into our bridge. We'll inhale, squeeze. And exhale to release. All the way down to the mat. So we'll do that 3 more times. Inhale to lift. Now find those inner thighs and draw them towards each other in that bridge. Yeah, tailbone long. And then exhale to release. 2 more times. We're feeling the glutes. So it's the back of the legs, pressing in evenly with the feet and squeezing the glutes up, the hips up to the sky. Exhale. And we'll do 1 more bridge here. Lifting up on the inhale. If you want to find that final bridge, rolling 1 shoulder blade in at a time, finding behind the tailbone, pressing into the hands, opening the heart, chest to chin, chin to chest. Allowing our heart to open, allowing our tailbone to grow long. finding our inner thighs, drawing them in towards each other. When we're ready, maybe lifting up a little bit higher on that last inhale, and then letting go, nice and slow, releasing that bind if we have it, all the way down. We'll neutralize the spine first, and then we'll bring those feet to either side of the mat, letting the knees drop in. Tailbone long, breathing into the low back, so feel that space. You can start to windshield wiper back and forth, letting the knees drop over to one side, and then the other. Sending gratitude into our low back and hips, our foundation for carrying us, for holding us. Allow yourself to be grounded, to be held here by the earth. And then we'll start to come back to center. Bringing the feet in line with the hips, we'll come into a twist. Starting first with our right leg, we'll cross it over on the top. So we'll cross our right leg over. Drawing those knees to chest. Let's give ourselves a squeeze with our legs crossed, that right leg on top. You can even do a couple circles here if you'd like with the knees. And then we're coming into a twist when we're ready. So letting those knees drop over to the left, we can come into a cactus or T. And we'll do a few big breaths into those hips and low back. Letting the energy come up to that right shoulder, letting it soften to the floor as we go a little bit deeper. Let's do one more deep breath. Finding more space with the exhale, twisting a little bit more. And then when we're ready, inhaling, we'll come back through the center. Crossing or uncrossing the legs, we'll straighten them out on the floor and just shake them out in between here to reset. And when we're ready for the other side, feet to floor, left leg on top, other side. We'll give ourselves a squeeze, left leg on top. If you want to do those circles, moving those knees around in a circle feels so good. Getting to know our hips. And then when we're ready for that twist, knees come over to the right, hands in a cactus or T. Leaning in. We can start to just feel our energy heavy here. Almost like we're starting our Shavasana already. One more deep breath. All the way up that left side into that left shoulder. And then finding more space on the exhale, maybe twisting a little bit deeper. With that exhale. When we're ready, start to come back center. And crossing the legs, straightening them out on the floor, shake them out. Okay. So if you'd like to find we'll do one more here in the hip. We'll bring the feet to floor, knees to sky. Our thread the needle will be our last pose today. Right ankle on top of that left knee, grabbing behind the left leg. Feel free to extend that left leg if you want to straighten that left leg. That's an option. But we're really focusing on that right knee, pressing away from our body. Flexing that top foot, that'll protect our knee. And feel free to bring the knees around in a circle here if you'd like. Exploring. Cleaning out the junk drawer of our hips. This is where we usually store our emotions in our body. So just cleaning that out now, just feeling it. Letting those emotions, those things we hid away, come up. And breathing into that. Let's do one more deep breath into this right side. With love, exhaling gratitude, thank you. Right side. Maybe pulling that leg a little bit closer. Before we release, we'll uncross that right leg, feet to floor. For the other side, when we're ready, we'll switch it up. Left ankle on top, grabbing behind that right knee. Option here to extend that right leg or not. And finding a version that works for you. Maybe some circles if you feel like it. Maybe flexing that top foot. Either way, we're pressing that left knee away from us, opening our hip. And cleaning out this side. Maybe noticing if we're holding in the shoulders, the jaw, the neck, the face, and just softening the upper body so we can go deeper, deeper into that hip. And we'll take one more deep breath there. Using the exhale to soften even deeper, maybe pulling that right knee in even closer. And then releasing, feet to floor. We'll come into our final rest, straightening the legs out on the floor. Palms up to the sky. We'll find a mudra with our fingers, first finger and thumb together. We'll feel our energy on the floor, and we'll just let it spill out and sink down into the earth. Maybe a small gap in the lips, opening the jaw. All the way up to the crown of the head, we'll open a funnel of energy to receive our healing from our practice. Gradually, start to deepen our breath. Slowly coming back. We'll wiggle the fingers and toes. And then when we're ready, we'll do a big stretch overhead. Waking up the body. When we're ready, we'll bring one knee into the chest at a time. Bringing the forehead to the knees, we'll give ourselves a big squeeze, big love, big hug here. Rocking and rolling over to one side. We'll feel the curve of our spine, staying on that side for a moment, feeling the connection with our spine, with ourselves, and with each other. So keeping that connection with us. When we're ready, using our top hand to press ourselves up, keeping that groundedness that we cultivated today. We'll come into our bound angle, feet together, knees wide, to seal our practice. Hands to heart, bowing down with gratitude for our foundation, for our body, for taking this time for ourselves today to invite in healing, to invite in balance into our lives, into our bodies. And taking a moment once more just to feel gratitude. It's maybe lifting the corners of your mouth and just inviting in a smile into the hips, into the low back. Feel that bliss rising up. Keeping that bliss and that light with us throughout our day, so that we might share that with others and inspire others to shine as well. As we heal ourselves, we heal each other. The love and light in me acknowledges and honors the love and light in you. Thank you for teaching me. Thank you for joining me today. Namaste.